All right, welcome ladies and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to GSA 70-star League. This race is going to be versus Heisenburger and Dwhatever. Joining me in the caster's desk will be Electric. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty great, ready to get into some Mario action. These are two really awesome runners. I mean, Dwhatever needs no introduction. World record of 47.08 and 70 star, just an absolute legend in this category. Meanwhile, Heisen been really making a name for himself, especially in 120 recently. And as we can see from the standings, Dwhatever repping that #1 spot with a 6-1 win-loss ratio, the exact same as Punkation, whereas Heisenburger a little bit further down with a 2-5 win-loss record. He could propel himself all the way into 7th place with a potential win here. And he's one of the players that definitely has the skill to usurp Dwhatever. It's just, it's going to be a matter of how consistently Heisenburger happens to be playing today and what kind of run Dwhatever has, whether it ends up being just an out of the park low 48, high 47, or if it's a little more modest 49.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it also depends on how practiced both runners are on 70 star. Like
That's definitely true too.
Yeah, because 120 is I mean, great practice for movement, but just routing and certain tricks that you do in 70 star. So could see a bit of a difference there. But yeah, Heisenburger 100% capable of taking over Dwhatever here. Both going to be on English, I believe.
The most optimal version, of course. It's not a huge difference. There are very few races that would have actually come down to a timing difference between English and JP. The difference is about 2 to 3 seconds, and it's solely based on the fact that JP text boxes take an additional 3 frames to scroll through, and certain text boxes are actually longer on JP due to how the text is spaced. So like this very first text box, it's 2 boxes on English, but 3 on JP, for instance.
Yeah, and it's very interesting. It has to do with which exact text boxes it is, because like you said, some text boxes are different lengths, and I believe it actually saves time in 120. Text boxes do for JP.
Yeah, in addition to the time save you get from the star being already spawned in JRB. And here's another prime example. In JP, this text box here is only 2 instead of 3, I believe. It's either this or the Whomp's opening text box, and JP is actually 1 shorter than English. But Heisenburger notably having a bit of trouble with bomb clip in some races, but doing it totally cleanly now. Dwhatever, of course, though, repping that backflip bomb clip and already a couple seconds ahead of Heisenburger out of the first 2 tricks right out the gate.
Yeah, Dwhatever gains a lot more time than you think on just like really clean movements. Obviously, being the world record holder, is extremely practiced.
And I mean, this is the legacy of single star. This is what grinding a bunch of single star gets you. Looking at the most optimal strats and saying, okay, how can I try to adapt this for some kind of RTA consistency? And I mean, you see him pulling out ridiculous strats like Snowman's head is the most obvious examples where he does the side flip off the penguin, but there are a lot of little nuances he incorporates throughout the entire run that saves just little bits of time in each spot, but it adds up.
Yeah, exactly. So also getting a 12-6 on the slide.
Not bad. And a 12-8 from Heisenburger.
Yep, 12-8, not a bad time at all.
HTM Kahlo getting exactly right guesses. See, I was just gonna ride my bets on whatever he guessed. That's why I didn't guess myself.
Yeah.
Now headed into Whomp's Fortress. This stage is what makes the lobby so painful, honestly. Any little mistake here easily starts to snowball. Miss Owlist, that's 8 seconds. Miss Candlelist, that's 6 seconds. Miss a cycle on 100 coin, at least 10 seconds. Like there's a lot of time for you to lose from very, very small mistakes that shouldn't lose that much, but due to the other circumstances of the level, just cause a lot of pain. But Dwhatever missing out on some of that pain with a first try Candleless attempt using the full setup, and Heisenburger as well.
Yeah, so both runners doing the full setups this time on Cannonless.
Yeah, it's a smart move for races, since if you're able to recognize your ledge grab position well, then you can get it 100% of the time. But of course, there are players that like texture setup better because of how much more control you ultimately have over where Mario's ledge grabbing. You just have to have a very good eye and a very good intuition for what positions will work in order to do that reliably. Both players also getting Owless first try, nice.
Yeah, very good for that. Yeah, but also with Cannonless, I think even if you take it slowly, you're really not losing any time versus doing the full setup over texture. So yeah, that's exactly why most runners or some runners enjoy doing that. But both runners on 100 coin now.
Yeah, notably Dwhatever going for the pro cycle movement, whereas Heizen just for the standard full cycle movement. So Dwhatever picked up an extra line of coins at the beginning, and that makes reaching this wooden platform on time much tighter, but he does have to waste a little less time on the ending. But both of them are getting the cycle that they wanted at least, and Heizen isn't going to be losing too much time to that. Dwhatever with a little bit of a wall bonk. That's his first real mistake, and that wasn't even a big mistake, maybe losing a second.
Yeah, Heisenburger having to double back for that red coin. Yeah, gonna lose him a little bit more time. But overall, really solid 100 coins from both runners. Yeah, that's the quick ending from Dwhatever. Heisenburger having to grab both lines of these yellow coins.
So a little bit more time loss, and it's unfortunate because Heizen hasn't made a true mistake yet. It's all the nuances, the little routing things. I mean, the closest thing to a mistake you could say is I believe he got medium bomb on bomb clip, and that's not really a mistake. It just loses time from hitting the B button 1 frame early.
Yeah, and on that 100 coin, he had to double back for that red coin on the ledge by the rotating platform, which lost him probably like 2 seconds. But yeah, even that wasn't even a big mistake.
So Wild Blue out of the way for both players now. Heading on up to chip off Whomp's block. This is one that for players at this level that have played the game this many times isn't that much of an issue, but developing a sense of when to time your ground pounds in order to get them optimally right when the Whomp is vulnerable, it takes a lot of time, and you'll probably end up pounding through the Whomp by accident many times. Heizen, though, ends up diving just short of the fence, and so sliding all the way down, having to take some double back movement. That's going to lose him way more time than he wanted.
Yeah, it looked like he just hit B instead of A and B, took a dive, looking for a jump dive. Yeah, Dwhatever having, again, the clean Whomp. Heisenburger should be pretty clean from here on out. Yeah, looks good from him, going to be grabbing the star. Just having top of the fortress stars left to do.
Now here's another one that D's probably going to be doing differently. He normally goes for the double jump strat here. Doing the triple today, just playing it a little bit more consistent. Okay. He probably has been watching the stream a little bit and realizes just how far ahead he is. So already out of Whomps, mainly through just sheer execution. Dwhatever forging himself over a 10-second lead. Now, why did Dwhatever re-enter the... You can see the just kind of like little smile on his face, like, wow, I just did that. Okay.
Yeah, thinking he had, for whatever reason, one more star to do. Really, honestly, didn't lose him that much time, though.
Yeah, since he got dropped like right back into the opening of the lobby.
Yeah, that's where he was going anyway. But yeah, probably did lose him a tiny bit of time, but it was funnier than anything.
Yeah.
So another 12-6 for Dwhatever. I want to say 12-7 for Heizen.
I think 12-8 again too. Yep.
Oh, you were right.
It is. I was right for once. Now, Dwhatever's flying is just out of this world. Flying in this game is a huge art form. It's very difficult when you're trying to fly optimally to control like Mario trying to go just in a flat plane without ascending or descending. And especially those first 2 coin grabs, there's a reason why it's really common for players to miss one of those 2. And I didn't actually see it. I think Dwhatever went for that rollout tech skip though, which is just wild. It's really hard to position yourself accurately on the button.
Yeah, without landing on the platform. Just, you mean the rollout like from the air?
Yeah, yeah. Like position it a little too high and you might end up hitting the star without the wing cap switch. A little too low and you'll just end up bonking. But
yeah, definitely a risky strat. Very cheeky time save.
But done with wing cap into Dark World. D on pretty decent pace. Going to be doing the underside elevator movement, setting himself up really nicely for Shia cycle. With the way those elevators were oriented, he really didn't have much of another choice. It would have been really awkward trying to move otherwise. Aizen getting burned though and taking a bonk, pretty well killing Shig pace chances. Very, very nice rollout there from D. That was a lesser player likely would have taken a death there, but he knew exactly what he was doing with that.
Yeah, it was basically early for Shig Cycle, and yeah, did a nice side flip dive. So saving time over a normal Shig Cycle. Heisenburger opting to jump to the cheese block before the center. Believe that's still Shig Cycle.
That was likely like late enough to just be a standard normal cycle because he lost a lot of time on that bonk over in the initial area.
Oh,
but
I didn't see the bonk.
At the same time, the elevator was like in a decent position, so might have just been like a very late Shig, likely normal though.
Yeah, it could have just been a solid normal, which is still only like what 3-4 seconds.
Yeah, it's only 4 seconds. Every rotating platform cycle is 4 seconds, so it's still acceptable to get normal cycle. I mean, it's better than taking a death.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, but this isn't entirely acceptable. Ending up missing the first throw. That's always so infuriating. Because you're finally starting to kind of de-stress a little bit from Dark World, and then all of a sudden, here's this other thing to make you more mad.
Yeah, absolutely. It could easily tilt you. Just a random few seconds here and there that you just left behind.
Now, do whatever with Sky Jump. It's looking pretty good. There we go.
Yeah, very nice flying from Do Whatever. It's very easy to fly too high or too low on that star. Or if you don't go far enough up the slope, you won't have enough speed.
Yeah, and it's kind of an awkward star to learn because it uses some kind of niche mechanics of flying. Like, you actually start whenever you like first take off from the triple jump, you want to be holding about up left, which should make Mario descend. But then when you shift quickly to a down left, it ends up making Mario do like a double ascension, which gets him even higher in the air to make it possible to get on that island. So it's finicky to learn, but relatively easy to master once you figure out the core concepts. It's just all about grinding it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Do Whatever having a really nice wall kick for work star. The belief fell at kind of a strange angle, but was able to adjust himself during the backflip. So is officially 1 star ahead of Heisenburger.
Yeah, now starting on 100 coin on the CCM17 route here. As Heisen goes in for slide skip on the very first star with the text box. Haven't really seen that from many players. Most of the time you'll see players either opt to do the text box with wall kicks or with Penguin.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, this stage is one of those where it doesn't really matter what star you do first, if you're gonna be doing what Heisenberger's doing. Do Whatever. I mean, you can't do that star, but you can do any other star first.
All right, so now he just finishing up nice and clean. Got just enough coins to be able to pick up the 100 coin right outside with the red. And now it will look like Heisenburger is much further behind than he actually is for a little while, since Do Whatever is going to be leaving with 1 less star out of this stage, but their routes will reconverge in SSL. So it'll be pretty easy then to see who exactly is ahead. But just chugging along through these stages, Do Whatever, wall kicks remaining, Heisen about to start out with the 100 coin here. For some reason, he always saves the wall kicks will work star for last. I've never quite understood why he chooses to do that. I guess just wants to get 100 coin out of the way a bit faster. Because you can't actually do the Penguin race until you are able to select its star with all other stars before it completed. So it has to be the 3rd star that you do at the very least. So now Heisen going to be going down the slide with this race. Do Whatever though, moving right along to BBH. And BBH you can also lose a really healthy chunk of time to, even though there's only 2 stars here. Especially with the fight with the Big Boo on top of the balcony, you can end up falling off the rooftop and it resets the entire fight, and you easily lose at least like 40 seconds to that. It's very devastating.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only trick. Yeah, otherwise BBH is really just more annoying time losses.
Yeah, like
seconds here and there on a bonk.
Exactly, yeah. Or the other real annoying one is if you somehow mistime your double jump on Secret of the Bookcase. you can fall down into the lower area and lose a little bit of time having to get back up to the balcony in the first place. Now, D takes a nice camera angle here so that he can actually see what Mario's doing this whole time.
Yeah, very clean fire from Dwhatever. So Heisenburger needing one more star here, TCM.
He's going to get that star with wall kicks, and he's on the platform. Very nice. All right.
Very clean from Heisenburger.
Yeah, fair. It's been really interesting to see how like the metagame has evolved during just the 3 short seasons that we've had so far. Like, used to seeing CCM17 was super uncommon. Now, seeing that bonk at the end of CCM is still very uncommon, but CCM17 is ultimately a much more common occurrence now. And it's like you said, it's been very interesting to see how the approach to the game has changed.
Yeah, exactly, and yeah, how much more comfortable racers are actually racing.
Yep, that's for sure.
That definitely comes into star selection. How nervous you're going to be, how consistent tricks are. It's all that risk value of, you know, toughness of the strat versus the time save it actually saves you.
Yeah, and the potential risk for if you fail it.
Yeah,
is also a big factor for many players, as it should be. So people in chat have already addressed it. In this trip to the basement is when you would do HMC if you were doing HMC early. But due to the specific route these players are using, they'll have exactly 30 stars upon leaving LLL. So they'll be able to go right through Fire C, which was the whole reason you would do HMC in the basement in the first place. And when you come back to HMC much later in the run after you already have 50 stars, you can get an additional star from MIPS, which means that you get to skip out on a star that you had to do in a stage before. So like a common one that people would do before was either do Amazing Emergency Exit in HMC or do Reds in SL. Dwhatever taking a death on his first plus. Oh boy. Or no, sorry.
No, that's his second plus.
Yeah, that's the second one.
The
My
first
bad.
one.
That's
He
my
actually
bad.
had a pretty nice save. Doing Tama plus.
Let's see how this attempt goes.
But yeah, that leaves a good amount of room for Heisenburger to come back in. Dying on any star is a fairly decent time loss.
Yeah, because you have to sit through the whole death animation, you have to sit through star select all over again, and like every transition takes a few seconds as well between all these things. Like when you first enter the stage, there's the fade in, and it's a couple of seconds before Mario actually starts moving again. And when you think about it, all of that is technically time loss. So
yep, exactly. Just doing everything for the second time. But yeah, Dwhatever getting plus his third go around. So doesn't have to do that trick anymore.
Now Heisen, oh, what?
Okay,
no, that was medium bomb throwaway. Okay,
yeah.
never mind.
It was like the bigger size medium bomb. Sometimes it can trick you with how it looks. I've had bombs that look like big bombs to me, but then they act like medium bombs.
Yeah, you more so have to tell based on the speed. And so I think it was the fact that he threw a bit later than I'm used to seeing people throw. I thought that it was a mistake during the regrab portion, but that was definitely just throwing away the wrong size bomb. So when you're trying to do that glitchy grab on the bomb, there's a number of frames while it's exploding that it's continuously expanding in size, and you want to grab the bomb on the last possible frame where it's at its largest size. If you grab it before then, you can still do pillarless, but you lose so much time with how you have to execute the trick with that lower speed that you would actually tie throwing the bomb away and doing what Heisenburger did here and just getting a big bomb on your second attempt. So
yeah, and it's a lot more difficult as well.
Right, like everything is a lot tighter because like you don't have as much speed. So like when you're doing the jump over the quicksand section, you have a lot less leeway of how you have to do that jump in order to make sure you clear that gap by the time the ground pound starts falling.
Yep, absolutely. Just overall a nightmare to do medium bomb pillarless, but into LLL now. Dwhatever grabbing his second star.
You're really nice flying there.
Yeah, I've seen runners just kind of dive down with the wing cap, like Heisenburger there just kind of clipped on the edge of the fence there. I'm not sure which one actually saves time over the other, or if it's just the same in whichever one you choose to do.
I'm not sure what the cap on like descending speed on flying is, but I would think that that could be faster. It's just the angle that you have to get in order to do that is probably very, very tight. But when you do end up clipping the fence, like you start falling almost instantly. So it'd be hard pressed to be much faster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably more so comes down to the runner's preference. Yeah, but Dwhatever and Heisenburger taking care of their bullies.
These can be annoying stars too. This long jump that Dwhatever did there for the ending, and that Heisenburger's going to end up doing too. If you time that just a little bit wrong, you'll ledge grab on one of the falling platforms, and it'll cause you to lose a ton of time.
Yeah, and both of them actually skipping the ledge grab onto that platform. So it can be a bit tricky to get the angle required to skip that ledge grab.
What makes it a lot easier is the camera that they're using, which is also really nice and quick anyway, since it aligns you perfectly through this like whole lava boost and then jump dive section. When you switch from Mario Cam back into Lakitu Cam, you end up actually like getting an angle that's more dead onto the platform that lends itself better to the ledge grab skip. But it is still hard to set up if you're not thinking about it or if you haven't spent a lot of time practicing it. And that cam can be a little bit difficult because if you time the cam wrong or you end up like doing some of your movement a bit sloppy, you can end up like somehow diving to the inside of that rotating ring around the volcano. It does open up the strat to be a little bit more finicky, but like once you've grinded it, it'll even itself back out. If you can tell, I've been grinding a lot of LLL recently, and like that's something that I've realized on those stars that like I've had to practice a lot to get out of the habit of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, remove the old muscle memory.
Right. That's true, fair enough. I just didn't know like what the highest speed you could reach during the ascension that Dwhatever did was. Because like I know that hyperspeed flying is of course a thing. It probably is faster to just fly straight into the star, but of course more inconsistent. Now Heisen, about done, just has to deal with the elevator tour real quick.
Yeah, just one last volcano star. Is really keeping up with Dwhatever. Especially like going into DDD. He's less than a star behind, it seems like.
Yeah, this isn't the worst position to be in. Nice roll out there. And so Dwhatever now on the chest star. This is a hard one to do optimally sometimes. The way that he's doing these chest openings leaves fairly little room for error. Swimming like just a little bit in a tighter arc than what you're used to could end up resulting in you missing the chest, and that results in major time loss trying to double back to get it. And another optimization is how exactly he activates the fourth chest. He purposely swims really far away from it after activating it, but before the star spawns, so the camera for the star spawn never actually glimpses the vortex. You'll also see a similar tech whenever he goes over to the manta ray star. He's going to try to spawn the manta ray star out of range of the vortex to reduce more lag. With that one though, like you kind of can't help the vortex being there, but the way it's on the screen will make more or less lag.
Yeah, looking at the vortex causes tons of lag. Actually pretty insane how much lag the star, or this level cost you.
And now D going for front sub here.
Oh, he is going for front sub.
He's lining up with that top light. Let's see, gonna be, oh, he was trying for the left side cam, but the first jump wasn't quite angled correctly. But nice backup, okay. Still pretty quick.
Probably didn't really lose time over back sub.
But not really.
If he did, it was very minuscule if he did lose time. So good to see though. Always fun to see front sub here in the 70-star league. I believe it was JJ a couple weeks back had a run and basically heard some commentators saying that nobody ever does front sub. So he decided to do front sub and then lost like a bunch of time to doing front sub.
I remember that interview too, and I halfway felt guilty, but then I was like, wait, that was his decision to do front sub. Heisen with a very comfy rear, and Dwhatever now onto Fire Sea. Dwhatever uses the stick approach. So at the start of this level, if you want to make Lava Boost a little easier, one of the additional things you can do is make sure Mario doesn't have to kick and instead has an angled long jump set up to get to that first like stone archway. You can either do that setup with a camera or by holding the stick in a precise out of notch position. The camera can be a bit risky because if you do it wrong, you'll probably end up losing time. In the stick position, if you don't have a good idea of what the out of notch stick position is, you could end up tilting Mario too far or too shallow. But of course, Dwhatever's been through this so many times that he just gets a free lava boost basically.
That was a massive
lava. Nice ending.
Like
when you get that deep into the platform,
the elevator.
Yeah. When you get that deep onto the platform, like you're just on another level at that point.
Yeah, Dwhatever is on an insane pace, really. I don't think he's made like really any mistakes.
I mean, he died on plus, and like I think there was like
right.
one little thing in Whomps or something, but overall not a bad run at all. And now I think that Heisen is also on pace for Lava Boost. He's going for it.
It's going to be close.
Not able to get it. Barely denied.
He got caught up on the elevator moving it to grab that last red coin. Or not the last, but that red coin.
Yeah, at least he was able to still back it up with that early Elias cycle. It's still losing time, I think about like 7 to 8 seconds, but it's less than it would have lost missing that cycle by far. It's mainly just the ending that he had to do there. And that was a bit sloppier of an ending than he even had to do, but still making his way through the star. No death, no like complete missed elevator cycle, so still in an okay position, but a full Bowser fight behind, and the Fire Sea Bowser fight especially isn't really where you want to be sitting at the end here.
Yeah, Bowser Fire Sea fight is definitely not a fun Bowser fight. It just takes forever. It's not even hard. The throw is, I think, actually easier than like Dark World or Bits Bowser. It's just the consequences for missing it are so severe.
Right. And it is nice because you do get to start from the same position every time. And if you want to go that route, there's a very consistent setup for a 3/4 spin. But like you said, if you miss it, it's very, very brutal, very taxing because Bowser's got to realign the stage, pull his level out, make sure everything's exactly the way he wants it. Like it takes so long.
Yeah, absolutely. But Heisenburger finishing it up. I'm gonna be meeting Dwhatever in Wet Dry World. Dwhatever on a pretty good 100 coin route, it looks like. Had some pretty good Skeeter RNG while doing the blue coins.
And just really nice and fast movement. Another thing that you see in these top level runners that a lot of newer runners miss out on for time save is just how fast they do a lot of the tech. If you watch a lot of Dwhatever's like side flips, for instance, are very, very snappy, whereas newer players might wait a little bit to make sure that Mario is actually going to side flip, for instance. But once you've played the game long enough, you understand the rules as well as Dwhatever does, like you don't need to do that stuff anymore. Just save the time. Heisen misses the triple wall kick there, but not in the worst way, at least. Was still able to back it up nicely with some cork steer movement.
Yeah, wasn't able to, or didn't bonk on the side of the cage and fall all the way down. Was able to just land on that ledge and just go up there normally, essentially.
Dwhatever with the double kick there. Okay.
Yeah, Dwhatever actually just killing this game right now.
He's on a wild run. This Wet Dry World has been treating him really, really nicely. Nice Skeeter RNG from Heisenburger, able to kill that Skeeter with the same exact ground pound as the blue switch. That's a pretty rare RNG pattern.
Yeah, that's like the best one you could get. It's exactly what you want.
Okay, D getting that triple on and kick.
Very nice from Dwhatever. So Heisenburger is on like a pretty insane run himself. Just Dwhatever is just Dwhatever and is on an even insaner run.
Yeah. Like the caliber of mistakes themselves has been fairly consistent across both runners. It's just the movement that they're doing besides the mistakes, Dwhatever is just being a lot more optimal throughout.
Yeah, it's insane to see how much time just doing things so optimally actually add up to.
Now, Dwhatever going to THI, and of course Rock Talk playing later tonight has a couple things to say about THI as usual. But first off, Secrets in THI is actually a difficult star, and not for many good reasons.
Yeah, I remember Rock Chalk saying that THI was what made this game so revolutionary.
I think it went a little differently than that. I don't think that's exactly how he said it, but you know.
Tomato, right?
Of course.
No.
It's really that second secret in this route, though. Like, it's so easy to end up like running right off the edge into oblivion. And first, like, it's the only stage that's designed that way. You think about like Whomps, it at least has a fence surrounding everything. If you're not jumping on the edges of the stage, you're not gonna die. But THI on Big Island, it just lets you run right off the edge for no good reason.
Yeah, it kind of acts as a tippy level in that aspect.
Yep.
Not as a typical upstairs.
And it's only one side that does it too. That's what's also weird. Like the other side that does it, granted, is just islands over nothing. It kind of makes sense there. But this side is just like they just extended the like barrier of the stage past where the fence is. Like there's no invisible wall where there should be one. It's just weird. It's a weird design. It's this secret right here that Heisen's on.
Yeah, I had to take the corner pretty sharp. Definitely faster to run in the circle. So yeah, trying to do it optimally, fairly easy to just run straight off the edge.
All right, so Piranha's dead on Dwhatever's side. Heisen, meanwhile, about to be picking up a quick top of the island star as Dwhatever heads into the Diet Tippy stage, TTM. Like it deserves to be called that. Everything in this stage also loses a ton of time. Like failing one of the log wall kicks is going to lose a buttload of time if you don't have your backups anymore. Like Reds is very difficult unless you're D and you're just a superhuman. Like
yeah, no, I mean the difficulty of the strats in that stage are extremely hard, but definitely ones you can get consistent.
For sure, for sure.
But yeah, Red's probably easiest star just to lose a ton of time on.
And it's especially oh yeah, nice breezeless.
Also very easy to die. Not on breezeless, but on the mushroom star.
Yeah, if you're not quite timing the stick movement correctly. And of course, if you have to do the backup, it can be a little bit easy to die too. Like it,
yeah, if your angle gets off a little bit.
Yeah, and when you're trying to do that star optimally, you actually use a slightly out of notch angle, and so it can be easy to like misjudge that and end up like falling a little bit too shallow of the star in relation to the camera or something like that. And you can even just lose a second from your rollout not making contact with the star, like just dumb stuff like that. But Dwhatever with some pretty nice reds.
Yeah, it looked very clean movement, very good lag reduction. Heisenburger was listening to us talk about it and wants to join the fun, so he's actually about to enter TTM himself and get right into the action, essentially. So Dwhatever, going to do his mountain clips now. Actually, very strangely, does backups to the mountain clips before the mountain clip.
Yeah, I guess for him, he's just that certain that he's going to succeed at the mountain clips. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe not having the backups makes him more consistent. But Heisenburger bonking, trying to get the waterfall star.
I think one of two things happened there. He either just kind of gave up and assumed that he wasn't going to be able to get there with the ledge grab, or he tried to hit A little bit too early to get the ledge grab, or like the wall kick in order to get a ledge grab. Then that's what's really brutal about this game is the depth perception can be kind of lacking sometimes, and when you hit A too early, you really don't have a chance to react and try to hit it again. Since holding A gives you the full wall kick height, like if you were trying to mash A for that wall kick, you would never end up ledge grabbing off of it.
Yeah, it has to be timed precisely. And I think there's even like a tiny little like slope, like it caves in. So the timings can be a little different as well, depending on where you kicked off initially.
Right. And what's weird there is you really don't want a first frame wall kick because that will like ensure that you're not going to be able to get a ledge grab. I think it might be a bit situational, but like your chances are very highly reduced at least if you get a firstie. But like trying to time anything but a first frame wall kick can be a little bit weird because a late frame wall kick will also not work while an earlier frame would. And like if you try to do Alice without doing like the simp setup, you'll realize just how hard it is to time a non-first frame but still early wall kick. And that's another situation where you have to do that for a backup.
Yeah, extremely hard to do. Definitely a few spots you have to do it throughout the game though.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's just another tech that has to be developed.
Yeah, exactly. So something these high level players actually have the ability to do. Yeah, because with firsties, you basically get punished for being too optimal.
Yeah, now, Dwhatever pulling some nice moves in SL right now. He ground pounded right on that box star as you kind of expect, but can be a little bit difficult to do sometimes. Heisen's going to be moving in after one more star, but granted, the stars in the upstairs area can be pretty short, but Dwhatever has forged himself just a really solid lead so far throughout this game.
Yeah, and double jumping into that deep freeze.
Yeah, that's another like single stars type strat. Like I'm surprised anyone's bothering to do those RTA.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. I mean, it depends on how accurate you are with speed kicks.
Yeah.
A lot of these like optimal movements, especially here in SL, like if you feel confident in speed kicks, like you can go a lot faster.
And it's more than just being confident and just doing a speed kick. It's like you said, an optimal speed kick. Like the way most people, myself included, will do their speed kicks is just totally releasing the stick, but you can actually get a speed kick to come out without fully releasing the stick. But you have to practice a lot on that. It's one of those techs that, like, I guess you could kind of compare it to like ESS position in Ocarina of Time or like a similar Zelda game, where like it's a very, very precise stick movement that you have to practice a lot because of its general use in a lot of spots.
Exactly, and looking at Heisenburger right there to give us the example. 2 speed kicks in order to move as quickly over to that ledge as possible to jump over it.
And like that strat is still possible with a less optimal speed kick, but like if you have a better speed kick, you thus have more speed, thus go faster, and that's kind of the point of the speed run. I am speed.
Yep, speaking of speed, Dwhatever over here. Speed demoning it up. Already in HMC, has already grabbed the MIPS, grabbed the Toad. While Heisenburger still has 1 star to go here in SL. I think it's into the deep freeze, fastest star, but yeah, good triple from Dwhatever.
Okay, so Dwhatever just kind of playing cleanup at this point in this stage. Gonna be going for the right side amazing emergency exit. That strat is the fastest way to do that, but if you get the ledge grab there, it's actually slower than doing that strat off the left side where you have to do a triple jump and then a jump dive.
Yes, and also much easier to die going left side. I think it was Droggy who actually did die going left side emergency exit.
Oh, like earlier today?
Yeah, I think last race.
Oh, wow. I didn't get a chance to catch that one, but yeah, it's pretty easy to die there, but like if you're consistent enough at that strat, I feel like it's easier to lose time to the right side strat that makes it less optimal. Like it's definitely a strat that you can get very consistent. You just have to like it's one of those stars where there's like a 4 to 5 second period where you just have to have insane focus if you want it to be truly 100% consistent. And it's like right after you exit the doorway, you have to make sure that your jump and kick are both correctly spaced in relation to each other and in relation to the door opening so that you land exactly where you want to on the pit area. You have to have your camera movement before you even enter the door be correct so that the camera turns properly after you exit the door. Getting the triple jump requires focus on when exactly Mario is going to be hitting the ground because, again, depth perception is hard. Like, there are a lot of things that have to come together that you can get the strat good enough without focusing a ton, but if you want it 100% consistent off that left side, you have to be focused for that 5-second interval.
Yeah, absolutely. And he made me feel a bit more confident myself, as I'm one of the people who has trouble getting that consistently.
Yeah, like I'm the same way. Like I've done the strat like since I started learning the game, and it still will cause problems for me every so often. Like and depending on how you fail it too, like there's different ways that you might have to back it up. Like sometimes the best thing you can do is like slide along the pit and use your speed to just go over and do Christmas Miracle real quick. Or just something else that seems really absurd, but ends up being the fastest thing due to how you failed it. Now, Dwhatever doing the fastest possible Lakitu bounce with a glitchy wall kick off the left side. Just, that is a ridiculous exercise in timing right there.
Oh, didn't die off.
Yeah, that was
hold my breath there for a second. This is gonna do the easy movement, but yeah, like you were saying, it was extremely fast getting up there. Just made us hold our breaths for half a second. And so Lakitu bounce being the hardest star in Rainbow Ride. Very nice to have that out of the way. Still possible to die pretty much in any star. Oh, but taking a backwards bonk there.
That was a very strange bonk. Oh,
Yeah.
and then not advancing too far into the camera. Just a bit of a meltdown on Rainbow Ride Reds right now from D. But he's recovering now. Dives over the third red there, or second red.
That was a great backup though. Literally slides right back into position.
Like, that was anything that could have gone wrong during that, unfortunately did. Oh, I'm so sorry, D.
Yeah, but it's pretty insane. Like that mistake is like the biggest mistake he's made all game. And that honestly wasn't even bad. Like the reactions to the mistakes were very clean.
Now Heisen joining D in Rainbow Ride. Let's see what he's gonna be pulling out here. D left side tricky triangles here. A little bit more difficult to get that ledge grab, but still managing to pull it off very cleanly. And just really, really nice and clean triangle movement there.
Yep. Yeah,
Heisenburger has to take a
not quite
backup.
Yeah, not quite able to get the Lakitu bounce.
And a nice 5 slide,
good.
though. Much, much cleaner reds than from D. With a second try Lakitu bounce, these two starts would be faster on Heisen's side for sure. Now, Dwhatever with the ludicrous strat for swinging in the breeze here. Going along that like upper platform like you would for tricky triangles, but with a totally different end goal. That is a wild strat right there. There's still like a more ridiculous like single star type strat for that star, but that's pretty much the fastest way you could even consider doing that RTA, and a lot of people don't even consider it.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons is much easier to die, and it only saves like a few points of a second.
Right, it's not even a full second you save on that. It's mainly just it lets you do a much better, cleaner ending to the star.
Yeah, that's exactly where the time save is done. But Dwhatever pulling out another pretty crazy strat. Triple jumps over to that blue button.
And that side flip triple, like I believe it was kind of developed by Saxel. I'm not sure who exactly like first tried it, but it's actually like fairly easy to pick up for a top level runner. Like for someone that isn't quite as well skilled with the game as someone like D, it might take a while to pick up, but I think D said he only practiced it for like an hour to pick it up.
That's really surprising because it's kind of like a blind angle. You'd assume it'd be like pretty hard.
Well, I believe the angle on the jump itself is actually a down right, and since it starts with the side flip, you do get a little bit of time to actually set it up. The position I think can be a bit iffy, but the angle itself is, I believe, a notch. So that makes it a lot easier. And if you end up like missing the side flip or the double jump doesn't come out, there's another backup at your disposal. I know D in the previous week's race had to do that backup there, and like it doesn't lose any real time at all, if I remember.
Yeah, very cool. But Dwhatever finishing 100 coin without any issues. Heisenburger basically a 100 coin and moving bar star behind. Gonna need some serious mistakes from Dwhatever. But even so, just kind of being overshadowed by Dwhatever. Like he's on a really good run. Like he's 44 minutes into TikTok clock.
Yeah, this is a really, really nice pace for Heisen. Oh, but wall kicks inside there. Nice side flip backup though.
Yeah, nice backup skill. Yeah, it can be a bit scary as well. Timing the jump on that fence is a little difficult. Alright, nice get a hand from Dwhatever. As Heisenburger finishes off his 100 coin.
Yeah, pretty decent ending to his 100 coin at least. Nice.
Yeah, gets a good angle for that pole to do a wall kick off of it. It's pretty interesting how wall kicks work off that pole. You have to have a good enough angle in order to get one, and then you can just essentially wall kick all the way up to the star.
Yeah, and it's nice how that pole will set up your angle like that, but if you're a little bit off of it, or like your angle long jumping in the first place is a little off, it like seems to dramatically throw the angle like further away from where it should be than a lot of other wall kicks. I don't know. It might just be the fact that you're wall kicking at such a steep angle, but like I feel like when your long jump is just a little bit misangled, it seems to like propagate even more extremely, like once you get through the jump.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, having a good angle is very important. Alright, Heisenburger having a nice roll into the cage. Dwhatever, already done with TikTok clock. I mean, just flew right by it after that 100 coin.
Yeah, this is a pretty impressive showing from D. Now he's going to be advancing into the sky. Oh, Heisen misses his triple during... Okay.
Moving reds. Oh.
Yeah. I think he was about to try moving reds, or maybe like somehow try to get another triple, but starting another triple on that moving platform would have been like really, really difficult. So I doubt that's what he was trying for.
Yeah, messing up that strat is very difficult to back up without just falling all the way down.
Oh, and then he gets the invis from the pendulum. Oh man,
doesn't die.
Like, I don't feel like any new runner should try to deal with the time moving triple jump wall kick, but for get a hand, I think you have the best case for trying to do that strat. Like in my personal runs, I do that triple jump wall kick once just for get a hand, unless I'm just on a really good run, because that invis just pops up for no reason. It feels like it just, when you do the movement up to that platform optimally, which he didn't hear, but like when you do it up there optimally and like lose a little time on the end, there's a fair chance you'll hit the invis. Like it's more common to hit that invis there than it really should be, and that, in my opinion, makes that strat harder than what should be harder, the triple jump wall kick.
Yeah,
but
definitely
in the fight.
Invis wall. Yeah, exactly. Dwhatever in bits. Taking care of Bowser. Has already taken care of Bowser. 3 hits. Is going to be getting at 47.
A nice high 47. GG. Like that's a wild race time.
That is insane.
47.
The first time 47 was accomplished was like last season finals in a race.
Well, like there was a 47.59 in season 1, and then all of a sudden that just got smashed down to like a mid 47.30 or something.
Yeah, it was like 47.30 something, I think. Insane.
Like that's just a legendary time to be able to get reliably.
Yeah, and I think Heisenburger is finishing up TikTok clock. Don't think he talked to the Toad before entering.
Right.
Yeah,
So yeah, gonna be headed right up to bits after. Oh, EBM, I think you're right as well. Yeah, I think at some point in season 2 he pulled out like a 47 4X, but I think like those are the only two 47s before D started getting them more reliably. So yeah, Heisen's PB chances unfortunately pretty dead, but he can still finish out with like a low 50, which isn't a bad finish. I mean, trying to compete against a high 47 like is that type of time nearly guarantees a win. So
yeah, basically, I think the only one who's ever been able to come close to that in race time is like Punke.
yeah,
I don't think Cheese has ever even gotten a 47 during a race.
I don't think so either, honestly.
So Heisenburger trying to live up to some pretty unrealistic expectations that Dwhatever has put in front of him. But grabbing any points off Dwhatever, you know, is a pretty good thing.
Right.
So you should feel good about your run, especially off of a 47 from Dwhatever.
Right. Even though it won't change your win-loss record, at least it will like give you that little bit of an edge in the case of some ties. So.
Yeah, and it looks like we are going to have a few ties at least going into the end.
Oh, no doubt.
So yeah, points very well could come down to points going into the tournament for the last couple spots. So Heisenburger finishing up his throws, has 2 for 2.
One more to close it out. And that's going to be it. Nice 3-throw fight.
Yeah, so 2.5 minutes off of Dwhatever.
That's not a super bad deficit. Like this is still a pretty decent run. Being like 40 seconds, 50 seconds off your PB isn't super bad, honestly. So GG's to Heisen for this race run. Really nice stuff from both players here.
Yeah, extremely good race. Yeah, Heisenburger, I mean, yeah, like we were saying, just had a better race than it looked, just due to Dwhatever's time. But GG's to both runners, really.
Yep. And now don't go anywhere, folks. We've got a live race next up between CLG's own Cheese and JJSRL. And then after that, we'll be closing out the night with Rock Chalk versus Puncation. So still got 2 more awesome Mario races coming up for you. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back after a short intermission.
They are synced now. Dwhatever in the lead again.
Wow.
Side for sure from Cheese. Okay, doing it moving. Oh no, the Cheese fall!